We're now up on Washington and 17th Street in front of the Jackie Gleason Theater of the Performing Arts. Paul, you mentioned earlier that Carl Fisher built a golf course north of Lincoln Road. Would that be in the area around here, the Civic Center area?
We're on this site right now. In fact, we have City Hall now here, the Convention Center, and of course this beautiful auditorium designed by some great Art Deco architects, Henry Hohauser, L. Murray Dixon, and Russell Pankos. In fact, let me show you on the map where we are. Here we are at 17th and Washington Avenue at the Jackie Gleason Theater of the Performing Arts. From here we'll walk over to the Raleigh Hotel on Collins and 18th.
This area was the site for a tremendous amount of publicity that was generated on Miami Beach.
Yes, and there were 3 events in 1964 that really put Miami Beach on the map.
But generations knew about Miami Beach, but they thought of it more as a tourist destination.
Yeah, and think of it this way. Within a period of 10 days, the biggest names in sports, television, and entertainment converged on Miami Beach.
Let me guess. Winter of '64, it must have been the Beatles.
You're right. Look at the Beatles here in Miami Beach.
That's great.
February of 1964, the Beatles appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show from the Deauville Hotel right on Collins and 67th. It was mayhem from the time they arrived until the time they left. Local DJs encouraged 7,000 kids to play hooky from school to greet the Beatles at the airport. They were only scheduled to stay a day or two, but wound up staying a week. Now, as if this wasn't enough publicity, just a few days later, Muhammad Ali fought one of the biggest battles of his early career. Ali, you remember, trained at the Fifth Street Gym with Angelo Dundee and actually had his first 10 professional fights here. Well, he beat Sonny Liston for the world heavyweight title next door to us in the Miami Beach Convention Hall.
I think I know the third event. It involves Jackie Gleason.
Yes, you know because of the Jackie Gleason Theater.
Well, that was the first clue.
Let me show you. In that same 10-day period, Jackie Gleason announced he would be moving his entire television program from New York to Miami Beach. They packed up the cast and crew and took a highly publicized train ride down here. They set up shop at the Miami Beach Auditorium for taped broadcasts that would begin in September of '64 and run for another 6 years.
And now in his honor, we have the Jackie Gleason Theater of the Performing Arts.
That's correct.
So what else is in the neighborhood?
We have a waterway behind us that honors the name of John Collins, an early avocado grower, whom we've discussed as one of the first residents of Miami Beach. In fact, it's called the Collins Canal. The Collins Canal was one of the very first man-made structures on Miami Beach. It was built in 1911 by John Collins to get his coconuts and avocados across the peninsula to the bay, and then from there by barge to the Florida East Coast Railway Station. They used the fill to build up the land for the Dade Boulevard. The canal still possesses an old world look.
As we make our way north up Miami Beach on our walking tour, we're headed over to the Raleigh Hotel on Collins Avenue and 18th Street. I love the Raleigh Hotel, and this pool area is magnificent.
It's one of my favorite parts of Miami Beach, one of my favorite locations.
The area we're in now on Collins and 18th was really the hub of activity during the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
There was a tremendous amount of it here. In fact, the Raleigh Hotel where we're at now with this beautiful pool and its grand lobby was designed by L. Murray Dixon in 1940. The Raleigh pool is the site of several Esther Williams movies.
Well, you know, Paul, I spoke with the manager earlier, and he said within the last 10 years, this pool has been the most photographed pool in Florida. There's been 9 feature films, 200 music videos, and over 1,000 catalog shoots here. Unbelievable.
It's a beautiful structure and a great example of the Art Deco style of architecture.
Yes, it is. Now, like most of the other architects who built these Art Deco treasures, they're not well recognized in their lifetimes. It's a real shame. Another Miami Beach landmark that we can't forget about is up on Collins and 21st Street, and that's Wolfie's Restaurant.
Wolfie Cohen was a waiter in the Catskill Mountains who came down to Miami Beach in 1943 and opened up a sandwich shop called Wolfie's right at that location. Very popular right from the beginning. Lots of celebrities. Al Jolson was there, Milton Berle, but also lots of just tourists and residents came to it.
I love their chicken liver sandwiches. I had to tell you, they're the best.
Well, later on, after that, he sold Wolfie's and opened up something called Pumpernicks opposite the Deauville Hotel. In fact, that's where Larry King had his early radio broadcast shows. Other people came and broadcast in the area too. There was Walter Winchell, there was Don McNeil with his very popular Breakfast Club, and a little later on, Arthur Godfrey broadcaster. In fact, he was so popular they named the street for him 41st Street. As it was, millions of Americans were listening or watching shows emanating from Miami Beach.
So here you have a growing popularity in television and radio. I mean, it really was a preview of things to come.
It really was. Let's take a walk up Collins Avenue and look at some of those vintage hotels built in the 1950s.
Next time on New Florida, we'll take a look at some of the hotels that made Miami Beach the place to visit in the post-World War II years.